We are live at last. After a little bit of mix-ups, we're sorry for being late. This is Ascension eSports Elder League. I am Decerux, and here is my co-caster, Dezdan, otherwise known as Brother Brando. How are you doing today, Brother Brando?
The confusion was a bit much, but I'm glad we got it fixed, and we're about to get underway for this final week of Ascension eSports Elder League.
Yeah, and we have
Regular season, that is.
It is the final week, and we do have Off in the Showers versus the Goofy Goobers. What are we expecting to see out of this match, Brando?
Honestly, I like both of these teams. These are probably two of my favorite teams that we have so far. And we do have some subs I see in here, but it's going to be good, I believe. We have our good friend Midgie who's playing, and maybe we'll get to see some Fizzy on the Zed again. Then last week we watched Oreo do just incredible work for the mid lane, so it was good stuff from Oreo, and hopefully we'll see some good games. I mean, last games of the season, gotta make them count.
Yeah, and this is for playoff position. Right now, this is really for the first seed. I'm pretty sure both of these teams are most likely guaranteed making it into the playoffs, but now it really comes down to getting that bye.
That is very much the case. Yeah, it looks like Off in the Shower, Elite 8, Bandits, and Fusion are all kind of right there together in the points wise. While most of these teams are pretty much locked in, it's still kind of a big deal.
Happy to sit this one out.
You always want to kind of get that by, but that being said, I hope they go all out and we get an exciting best of 2.
Yeah, I really do hope this ends up being a good match. Because we're talking about a lot of subs. Not a lot of subs, I'm sorry. My mind is like still a little back and forth between the Blazing Bandits and the Cuckabos and all this mix-ups we've been having. Yeah, overall it should be a good match. Both of these teams are very, very fun to watch. Especially the Goofy Goobers. I had a lot of fun watching them last time we were able to cast them. Team's a little bit mixed up this time, but we do see Midgie on the Goofy Goobers.
My boy.
So the bans are going out.
Last week,
oh, go ahead.
Autumn Rain's your fault, right? If I remember right. Wasn't that the joke last stream?
Yeah. Oreo was a god, by the way.
Last time we played, that was the case, and Midgie's my boy, so we got a face off.
It is the matchup Off in the Showers presented by Decerux and Goofy Goobers presented by Brother Brando. Who will win it?
Hesitation.
I am going to post in the Discord, the link, I guess. Everyone.
So the bans are out. We do have an Ivern ban. We have a Katarina ban. We have the LeBlanc Aatrox ban, which is most likely a throwaway, as well as a Kha'Zix and Sivir, which might be a throwaway, might not. Lee Sin picked up 4 Off in the Shower.
Okay. It is now linked in the chat. There we go. Shin Ash. That's going to be interesting. Shin's always that super tanky top lane, but I don't know that I like picking him this early when there's other options available. But that being said, it can be made useful, I guess.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, because Shen is really weak in the early game to counter picks overall.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, but their Midgie might be comfortable on the Shin, and Stand United's always a great tool for turning those 4v4s into 4v5s, 1v2s or 1v1s into 1v2s, that kind of thing.
Wait, isn't Sildix the Mord one trick?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
That
either.
might be the case. I do remember seeing remember seeing a lot of Mord pick bans, I think. And I think this might be the person that they were banned against. If that's the case, I'm excited to see it. I don't know Mord into in matchup, but I would assume Mord would have some sort of intricacy in the lane, I guess. I have no idea.
Yeah, this should be very interesting. A lot of unorthodox picks going into this new patch so far. We do see the Brand picked up. We haven't seen that pick for a while, as well as the Lulu and Mordekaiser for that fact. Should be a very interesting overall game. So far,
You have
with patch change, there hasn't been the Oh, there it is.
you have to question whether that's going to be a support brand or a mid brand right now. I'm kind of leaning more towards it's going to be mid, but support brand is still always the ever threatening thing. We shall see what F5 Snow locks in.
Yeah, we shall see. Really, I'm kind of curious.
What are these comps?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about the comps here. You see a very mixed comp coming off from Often Showers. The Jin, the
Okay,
Orianna,
so-
the Lulu, and most
Well,
of all, the
it's-
Mordekaiser.
It's going to be support brand, okay. Or it could be support Syndra. You never know with these games, man. But that being said, Syndra, Lissandra. That's something I haven't seen in a while. I wonder.
So yeah,
Okay.
this is. Did this patch change that much? Like,
Apparently, I do know Lulu has gotten like very much increasingly popular over the last couple weeks. She's very good at just her wild growth is just it's invaluable whenever it comes to, or it's very valuable when it comes to just saving the AD carry, and with all the utility that Jin brings, it can be a super safe lane.
yeah, but at the same time, they don't really have that much appeal when it comes to having the invasion of that buy. When she comes to that lane to gank it, the assault and battery, it's really hard to pull it off regardless. You know, just having a Lulu and Jin isn't much prevention, especially since you have the teleport Lissandra. It can be a very aggressive bot lane engage going on for the Goofy Goobers.
Yeah, the Goofers definitely. The Goofy. Oh man, the Goobers have just a plethora of just different engage tools. But I do feel that if they get like caught out, then it will be a problem as far as like a skirmish or a team fight. But like, because when you look at it, you have the Vi, you have the Ashe ult, you have Lissandra, you have Shin. Brand can lock people up. There's so many ways for them to engage a fight. Whereas I believe the Off in the Shower have a little bit more of a disengage slash pseudo engage comp. Really, you do have Lee send Dragon's Rage into people. You have the Orianna ult. You have other things sort of like the Lulu ult and things like that to sort of disengage. But I don't know.
It's not as potent. I think that's the big issue there.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one of those things where we kind of can't really comment on this kind of stuff because these teams are so weird, and we still haven't seen a whole lot on this patch yet. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much, and really, I think one of the things that's going to be held to the test is how effective is Jin now that the lethality nerfs have come in. I'm sure he's going to be just as strong, but there is going to be the noticeable dial down. Are we going to see a resurgence of other ADCs because of it? So I'm pretty curious about how that's going to play out, really.
It's possible. I still think he's super strong. I don't actually know the extent of the lethality changes. I haven't looked over the patch notes that heavily yet.
The big thing was just Edge of Night.
Okay, yeah.
So I guess my main question is, that was a really overpowered item when we talk about lethality. Considering that you had Misfortunes grabbing it, you had Jin's grabbing it, you had Varus grabbing it, and it just made it so safe for these AD carries. Now, since the nerfs have come in, it's going to take away from that safeness. And especially since ADC like Jhin is very immobile, how much can that actually affect the outcome of this match?
Well, if the match is the Cuckabos versus Off in the Shower, then I don't know. I might need to change that title. So, to your point, I really don't know. I hope that we see some diversity in the picks and sort of that whole deal, but it really is a toss-up, I think. We do get into game very shortly, so we'll just have to see how it plays out, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the main topic, though, even though we're getting into all this, we're really overlooking the true star of all these picks, and that's got to be the Mordekaiser. How is that Mordekaiser versus Shen matchup going to look?
I have no clue. There's no way to even talk about that.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on this one. So Sylvix, I'm pretty sure he is the Mordekaiser main. I think this is his first time getting the Mordekaiser pick as far as it comes to our cast. But we won't really know the power until we actually see it. Is it really as strong as it should be, considering its warranted bans from multiple teams over and over? Brother Brando has apparently become scared.
Yeah, okay. We are now in the right game, I believe. So, okay. We're loading up here fairly shortly, I hope. And I honestly don't know. I haven't seen Fizzy jungle yet, I don't think. I've always seen him play on Zed. And last week we watched Off in the Shower, I believe. Piccolo Jack had a very large part in the early games as far as getting his team ahead. Autumn Rain had a fairly good performance on the AD carry, I believe. I think Sean was a sub, if I remember right. So, all kind of interesting. I haven't seen the Goobers in a while. I don't think we've casted Goobers with Midgie yet, though we've wanted to for a while. And everyone in my spectator client is invisible. This is great. Yeah, boy. League of Legends, my friend. Okay, there we go. Okay. That was weird. So we do see a Dark Seal purchase. Dark Seal's really good for laning. I don't think he would stack it, but the extra healing from the potions that it gives is really good. It's an interesting pick. I'm sure he knows more about it than I do.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I always like the 4v or the early game skirmishes. They're always fun to see. Here we go. That was a lot of damage just from the brand W there. That was actually an incredible amount of damage, and he gets the full proc of his support items. So gold lead for the Goobers. Worth. Hey, that 24 gold's almost half a pot. So yeah, the brand has 3 pots. He has his. I mean, I don't know. That's what all supports get, but we're trying to come up with something to talk about here because we have no idea what's going to go on in this series.
Yeah, not at all.
Standard starts, barring that little bit of a tussle there. One thing we have to question is, can Oreo put on the same performance that was had last week?
Ooh.
Are you frozen?
Yeah, having some client issues right now.
I am frozen as well. What is going on?
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay,
there it goes.
now we are back into the game. Interesting bug going on. Might be with this particular match.
I doubt
We're
it.
getting issues on both ends and frozen again.
Yeah, let me tab out, tab back in, see if that does anything.
And sorry for the inconvenience. This is weird
Clearly,
replay error we're getting right now.
Yeah, clearly Riot servers just can't handle the awesomeness that we're about to see in this game.
Yeah, Goofy Goobers versus Off in the Shower is waiting.
A summoner has disconnected.
Possibly one of the best games we could have, but we
Oh,
are
maybe
having
that
a
was
TC.
maybe that was the issue. Maybe it's a it almost has to be a Riot thing. I'm assuming on this side. I wonder how that plays into the rules if it is a Riot
Server
error.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have a disconnect. There is a pause out right now. Last we heard, the top laner for the Goofy Goobers was having
summoner has
2k
been
ping.
created.
Trying to get this resorted. It is Riot side. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do for this.
The game is unpaused for me, but nothing is moving.
Yeah, getting the same issue.
Come on, Riot. We just want to see some League of Legends. We wait for this all week. Everybody waits for this all week long. And we're
And
back.
now we are back in the game. Hopefully for good this time. A little bit of lag coming back and
You had
forth.
to jinx it.
Soon enough how this goes.
Decerux started a siphon. I guess that's a normal thing. It gives you that little bit of poke in lane. And he picked up the Harvester Sorrow, which is his W. I'm really curious to see how this matchup goes because I don't know enough about Mordekaiser right now.
I don't think anyone
You never
does.
see him. Yeah, you never really see him. So
The thing is, you get
But
those
we do-
champs that are not considered overpowered, but just because no one plays them, it becomes really hard to actually have counterplay against it.
yeah, one thing that brings to my mind would be the Ziggs that we used last season.
Ooh, look at
Nobody
this. An invade
really
coming
played
out of
against-
Piccolo Jack. Piccolo Jack trying to get onto Fizzy, has to ward jump away.
I think I'm a little bit behind you.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah. I was a little bit behind. All good now.
Weird issues coming out of the League client today.
Yeah, but it can't be helped. So.
Yeah, but things running smoothly so far. Hopefully they stay that way. An
One
attempted
thing-
invade coming out of Piccolo Jack didn't work too well. He was in range to try and go for the Q, but mostly tried to play it safe. Just take the easy route. Just walk away from it. Now, so much fighting going on in the spot lane.
Oh yeah, well, when you have aggressive support like Brand with a semi-poke from Ash, there's plenty of damage that can come out, so I fully expect to see this sort of aggression. That being said, I kind of want to take a look at the mid lane, the CS difference that's going on right now. Oreo is definitely handling the way that is not allowing the sort of short range that Lysandra has to kind of come up with that wave and get the farm that she needs to. That is quite a CS difference there.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Lysandra. It's usually a chore to try and CS on Lysandra when you're dealing with someone who has a range of Orianna or from most mages in particular.
Yeah, I think this lane's mostly going to be focused as far as level 6. Whenever the Lysandra can get the ult onto Orianna, then maybe with the Vi coming in, the assault and battery, I think it is.
Yes.
And that hopefully will be the case, but we do see Piccolo Jack here in the bottom lane camping in a bush. He's level 3 though. I kind of question that. If they don't get anything out of it, that's a lot of wasted time. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Needs to try and get off that early aggression. be successful. He managed to land the Sonic Wave. Does burn a flash out of it. Not a complete waste, but not much of a payback either.
That is very much the case. Level 3 to Fizzy's level 4, and I think Fizzy's almost level 5.
Uh-oh, Sean getting caught up, gets stunned up, taking a lot of damage, does rock the grand passive. Now, meanwhile, Oreo getting caught up by Fizzy. Fizzy so close to getting that kill. Instead, the first blood goes to BTF5 Snow.
Yeah, that was a very good gank. He waited for Fizzy. He waited for a very long time with the Q charged up. And this is what we said. Lysandra, while she's having trouble farming, if they can get the CC combo down in the mid lane, the Orianna just doesn't have a chance so far as being, either uses both summoners, and she even flashed there and still died.
Yeah, and this is the big thing to know. The Ice Tomb is up and both summoners are down. This is really, really bad territory for Oreo.
Yeah, so as the Vi gets closer to 6, now that Lysandra has access to the Frozen Tomb, it's going to be very scary for this Orianna here in the mid lane.
Scary for this bot lane as well. BTF5 Snow looking to get the teleport ulti. Warrant the flash, but didn't get much out of it.
That started to look like a Decerux solo queue play right there. I've seen you do the teleport down bot side, level 6 many a time.
I'm actually successful. Michi running extreme mode. Sonic Wave lands, and Piccolo Jack picks up the kill.
That's unfortunate. Did you say? Yeah, I was thinking of Shockwave and Sonic Wave. I was like, what? Orianna's not there? But we do see this, even though he just got an assist, this Mordekaiser seems to be working out. He's getting a little bit of got himself a little bit of a CS lead. Not too big, but I did see him land the third Q onto Midgey, and it took like a third of its health, I think. That's a lot this early on for this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and this is the thing, really. Like, it's even though the CS lead isn't that much yet, the health bars really represent the story of what's going on in this lane. He's able to do that, harass, and keep up a CS quite well.
And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that Shin doesn't really have
Fizzy in the mid lane, going for the gank, and here comes the Ice Tomb. No, Shockwave goes off, but the Ice Tomb does finish off Oreo.
But yeah, like I was saying, I don't think the Shen really has any threat to the Mordekaiser without jungler assistance. So that's why it's kind of a free farm lane for the Mordekaiser. He can kind of do what he wants to, I think, in that effect. And one thing we'll have to pay attention to is whether he roams down for a dragon fight later on, because we know that he gets the dragon passive, which can be very much detrimental to a tower or a person if they get allowed to attack them.
Piccolo Jack is going to try and get on to Michi again for the repeat gank. Michi does have flash ups, so should be fine. Not taking that much damage anyway. Looking to actually return it. Nope, doesn't go in for the engage.
It's smart for him to, I guess, back off. They don't have to force anything there. Lee doesn't have Dragon's Rage yet. As soon as he gets Dragon Rage, I kind of expect him to come back to either top or maybe bot. I think the mid kind of just has to hold its own here at this point and try to play as safe as possible, because a little bit of a tussle down the bot lane got me. I was waiting for you.
Call, landing bullet after bullet, but the Ash arrow interrupts it. Brilliant use of the arrow from WD Fan.
Yeah, they were worried there, but the Ash arrow fully negates the Jin was doing, so it's fairly safe. Sucks that they had to use the Ash arrow to do that, because that limits their engage here in the bot lane. That said, it's still, I mean, they lived.
Yeah. And it's a good way to use it. It avoids the pressure that curtain call puts on, especially with their health bars being that low.
That is true. I'm going to be curious to see the damage charts later on, so far as how much damage Quantum Lightning does here in the bot lane. Because I always enjoy seeing the quote-unquote supports damage. And support brand is one of the most frustrating things to ever play against if it does get a hit.
Ooh, and the very aggressive movements coming out off the tower.
Yeah, I think this was one thing that we noticed of Piccolo Jack.
Oh, Shockwave goes out, lands on the Quantum Lightning and WD Fan, and Quantum Lightning drops first, but the Ice Tome comes out. BTF5 Snow trying to get as much done as he can, but drops to Oreo. Oreo takes the Assault and Battery, is eating a lot of damage, trying to deliver it back, but a double kill picked up for Fizzy, and the Deadly Flourish does not finish off WD Fan.
I did not see what happened because I was still behind you, apparently. Did Shen use Stand United and it
Yes,
not go
Shen used Stand United on Quantum Lightning, but Quantum Lightning died.
Oh, okay, that's what happened. That was a lot of health regen. Oh my goodness.
Sylvix turning that around.
That was fairly lucky, I think, to say of Migi, but...
Oh, a
Migi
great
don't
skill
need
coming
no
out of
luck.
Piccolo Jack, but can he get away? Yes, he cannot.
Yep, the red buff tick. Always got to watch out for it. But you got the dragon. It's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, they don't get a Mordekaiser Ghost because he was not there to assist with it. But that's okay. It's a cloud drake, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But you can fight this, yeah.
Migi trying to fight this, but Sylvix actually holding his own. Didn't lose that much health.
Yeah, he got a lot of regen from, I think, the W, and it gives a substantial return so far as health-wise is concerned. I still get these random freezes. I don't really know what's going on.
No, I've stopped getting them for now. But all
I
good
have
so
no
far.
idea.
And now
This is a little bit unfortunate, but I have to do my best to try to stay up with you.
now the Goofy Goobers so far in the driver's seat. Excellent play coming out of Piccolo Jack to deny some of what the Goobers were picking up, but here comes Piccolo Jack. Looking to try and get the Sonic Wave onto WD Fan, lands it, but gets stunned up. Piccolo Jack is on the retreat now. Gets the shield, has to run away. Teleport's going out and gets hit by the brand, gets stunned by it. And here comes BTF5 Snow, landing the Glacial Tomb and gets a double kill.
That Thunderlord's proc, though, that was sad to look at. The thunder raining down from the sky from a Lysandra auto attack.
Yeah. This should be first turret picked up for the Goofy Goobers as well.
Yep. Oreo is spotted here, so I wonder if something will be turned.
Ooh, Shockwave grabs 3, picks up a kill, but is it too much to chew as he gets closed in on by the Goofy Goobers?
Yeah, the Goobers they're playing this early game fairly well so far, and I mean, with this being one of the last, this being the last regular season set, they're definitely looking to make a case here. But that being said, it's still a very small gold lead, all things considered. So they've got to continue to grow what they have gotten. Now that they've gotten this bot tower, sorry, I got.
I know that thing
caught
can
off by
tick
that.
for days, but I don't think it's gonna finish off.
No,
Or is it?
Oh, he got the W on a minion.
Wow,
Still not-
Sylvix doing so much.
Yeah,
To
not
try and get that
quite
kill.
enough. Oh yeah, that was close though. Mordekaiser is rushing the Gunblade here, so it'll be a little bit difficult for the Shin to escape once he gets that slow. But I would like to point out that a lot of the damage that got that little kill, that little skirmish they had in the bot lane, was off the back of Quantum Lightning. He landed a pretty good, I think it's Pyroblast or something. I think that's what it is. Or I think of Hearthstone, Pyroclasm. I never knew that. I always thought it was Pyroblast. Today I learned. But I guess I always confused it with Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone. So Blizzard be damned.
Yeah. Right now we got some quality Riot Games League of Legends action going on. And here comes up the arrow. Goes all the way to Santa Monica. Meanwhile, Fizzy going after Piccolo Jack. But still the fight going on in the top lane. Sylvix going after Michi, trying to get as much damage. Gunblade proc does go off. Sylvix doing really well in these trades, but look who's coming up. It's Fizzy trying to get some redemption for that top lane, but is spotted out by a control ward.
Yeah, one thing I'd have to ask is, is the Mordekaiser going to offer the same thing that the Shin does later on in the game? And I wonder that because of his sort of limited range.
Piccolo Jack jumps in. Sylvix takes a lot of damage. Brilliant Dragon Rage coming out, setting up that shutdown for Sylvix. And now the chase onto Michi. He does have Children of the Grave on him. Will it be too much for Michi to take? Does not take the Resonating Strike from Piccolo Jack.
So as I start to talk down about the Mordekaiser pick, then he answers that with a kill. Oh man, these little micro stuttering freezes that I'm getting are really annoying. I might have to restart before our next series, see if that affects anything. It will be a tower here picked up for off from the tower, so.
Yeah, and so far that brings us to 1 tower apiece. And the gold, still not that far apart, really.
Nope.
Off in the Shower is holding their own despite losing so much in terms of fights.
Yeah, I'd go as far as to say it's a dead even game at this point.
Ooh, arrow goes out, but lands on Deshaun. Shockwave gets on the WDD fan, but there goes the ultimate from Quantum Lightning, trying to take out Autumn Rain. And here comes Stand United onto Oreo. The Ice Tomb lands, and now a taunt on Autumn Rain. Unfortunately, unable to pick him up. And the Goofy Goobers, with a very aggressive power dive, managed to pick up some kills. But here comes the curtain call. There is a lot of high health bars. It's going to be very hard to pick someone off. Gets Quantum Lightning and WD fan low, but no kills picked up for Off in the Shower.
Yeah, a lot was blown in that fight from both sides, but still a fairly low sort of outcome there. I mean, I think only one person died. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny to watch. They're still looking to fight here a little bit, I think, around this Ocean Dragon that's going to spawn. That's going to be fought over here.
Yeah, really the main thing is, the Goofy Goobers were able to dive and be between 2 towers. Sean getting picked up, gonna drop to Fizzy. Now the fight is not looking too good for Off in the Showers. Piccolo Jack lands the Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike, looking to kill off Fizzy. Fizzy does drop. Who is in the driver's seat of this match so far? It might just be Sylvix by himself, as he does have the Ghost of the Dragon looking to advance into the territory of the Goofy Goobers.
That dragon did a lot of work there. It just kept, it was left unchecked, and it just kept doing damage after damage after damage. That was nasty to look, and we should see this mid-tower fall with the aid of this dragon here. Possibly not. Yeah, this dragon's gonna melt. So.
Oh, but Oreo looking to get the Shockwave. Instead, the shutdown picked up for Sylvix using the dragon. Here comes the ultimate from Quantum Lightning as Sylvix, biting off more than he could chew, has to flash away. But still, overall success for Off in the Shower.
And now the gold's slightly tilted for Off in the Shower. This game is dead even. And, yeah, that dragon was insane during the team fight. It did so much there, but...
Yeah, I mean, they lost Sean really early on. They didn't even need the support because they got the new member, and that was the dragon.
Yeah, dragon, report the dragon for biasing. It's helping teammates.
Taking on a 6v5.
Yeah, this Rift Herald is going to be starting.
Most likely going to go to Sylvix. It has to go to Sylvix.
Yeah, that's going to be a very scary Mordekaiser.
No kidding. He's already been scary so far. 202, doing pretty well in lane. Does have 6 stacks on that Dark Seal.
That's going to be... If he walks up and boots you, it's going to hurt. I'm rather impressed at the closeness of this game. It is very dead even so far here.
Yeah, so far, surprisingly even, Goofy Goobers look to have the better team fights, and then Sylvix started existing, and that changed everything. Not to mention Oreo Shockwaves.
Yeah, I guess that answers the question, was what can the Mordekaiser bring to team fights later on?
I mean, a dragon. Apparently.
A dragon. Yeah,
oh, this might be bad for BTF5 Snow. Nope. Chooses not to go for the Shockwave. Piccolo Jack lands. Goes in. This might be the Shockwave, but no, out of range. Piccolo Jack in no man's land dropped. Going too aggressive is Off in the Showers. Now Busy looking to get that aggression onto Oreo. Has to flash away, but just over ambitious.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of that last week, and I think we noted on it. There was a little bit too much aggression coming out of Piccolo Jack. While he did a lot for his team, getting them ahead, he did tend to show some signs of trying to be that playmaker. And while the play wasn't necessarily needed to be made at that point, yeah, you just don't need to force things so much.
Well,
but
that was more of a team decision. I can't really fault Piccolo Jack for that because you see the Shockwave is on cooldown. You know the intention they had with that move, but it was just way too far out. It reset the ball and caused the Shockwave to be a self-used Shockwave.
Yeah, it's just little things, you know. I personally wouldn't have went for that play, but heat of the moment, you got to do what you got to do. I'm sure it was a premeditated plan by both of them. But
well, in theory, if that ball stayed onto Piccolo Jack, that would have been a pretty big Shockwave.
That is very much true, and then you would have seen Mordekaiser just running there, screaming, doing his thing, hopefully getting a pentakill. You know, more things. We see a little bit of a vision denial here coming up. Piccolo Jack, he took a couple of wards out on his way back here.
It's becoming an A round now.
Yeah, it is.
And the engage coming from Offense Showers, looking to pick up Fizzy. Fizzy running extreme low. Shockwave whiffs really badly. Unfortunate for Offense Showers, they do not get that kill on the Fizzy.
Yeah, now that those engage tools are down, they probably just need to back off because most of the engage for the Goobers is still up or is about to come up. I don't know that I would keep forcing this issue.
They want this tower.
There are 3 ults down on the sides of Off in the Shower, and almost all of the Goobers are up or coming up. That said, Fizzy is low, and so is Snow, and Quantum Light is fairly low himself. So it looks like we're just going to go back to ARAM.
Yeah, just constant ARAM battles going on here. They really want that tower. Probably not the best way to get it, though.
You definitely want to have some sort of side lane pressure to force people to react to it, but I guess I can understand wanting to fight. Both of these teams, I believe, have some players that really enjoy fighting. Just based off the people that I know.
Yeah, Piccolo Jack. Oreo is one of the more calculated brawlers, though. What we saw from him last time was absolutely immaculate in play.
That is very true. Definitely the MVP of their series from last week, I believe.
But now
We'll see another dragon spawning here in about 30 seconds, 25.
yeah, hopefully this forces a fight and puts an end to this ARAM already.
Yeah, it should, because this is an Infernal Dragon, and that's something you definitely can't ignore. We do see Midgey finally in a side lane, but that said, he's not very far pushed in it. He does have Steady United and Teleport. Gotta see what he can do
Might
from
break
there.
out here. Sonic Wave should come out, but gets stunned out instead. Piccolo Jack denied any advancement.
You do see the dragon about to be started up.
And you know what that means? The 6th member for Off in the Showers will be there. BTF5 Snow goes in, gets a beautiful Ice Tomb, manages to pick off Sylvix as well as Piccolo Jack. This doesn't look too good for Off in the Showers. Sean trying to run his damnedest, his fastest. Those little legs can't run fast enough, though. Double kill picked up for Fizzy.
That was very good target prioritization from the Goobers there, denying the Mordekaiser's dragon to do any sort of relevant damage in the fight. And they come out with a fairly clean team fight there.
Yeah,
they did get the dragon, but that's not the end of the world. Really.
Children of the Grave is not on cooldown right now. He didn't even manage to use it.
Yeah, they showed very good target priority.
Ooh, a flash aggressive Vault Breaker coming out of Fizzy. Not getting too much out of it. Oreo does not have Shockwave, so it's not too threatening. This tower is picked up quite easily for the Goobers. Oh, that might be the end. Sylvix coming back in, gets the Children of the Grave onto WD Fan, and now the 6th member of Off in the Showers is actually WD Fan as they pick up that double kill on to Midgey.
Oh, and that is the one person you don't want to have taken by Mordekaiser, your AD carry.
Yeah, you're gonna see these towers go down quick and in a hurry.
And what can you expect from a 6v4?
What?
Mordekaiser Ghost has 6 people, and there's 3 people
64.
left alive. Yeah.
I thought you said 64. I was like Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay. Oh, these little phrases are the worst. I have to keep mashing the speed up button.
Overall, a good game so far. Pretty good team fights coming out of both teams. No
Well,
team
I
is
mean-
really solidly in the head, except Off in the Showers do have a pretty good objective lead when it comes to Dragons.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, it's kind of to be expected though when you have an ARAM for like 15 minutes, but yeah. At least if they do continue to ARAM, as the items come in, they won't be able to do that for too long without taking more and more towers. So.
Throwback to Curse versus Dignitas.
ARAM. They're
Yeah.
winning until they losing.
No, they
Yeah,
actually
they
did a
lose.
purpose ARAM. They did
Oh,
an
yeah,
ARAM on
yeah,
purpose.
I remember that. Then they get fined for
Yeah,
it.
they got fined for it.
I remember that. I was sad. I think that was back whenever I was still a fan.
Yeah. I remember
They were trying
I Will
to-
Dominate was on Dignitas then.
Yeah, they were trying to split prize money, I think. I think that was the point of it.
No, I believe they just wanted to do one set as an ARAM.
Oh, okay.
They weren't going to do
Maybe
the
I'm thinking
full
of
thing.
maybe I'm thinking of something different.
No, because of course that would be a fine. So far, objective game going to Off and Shower. Managing to get the turrets. See what happens when you don't play an ARAM. You just go to other lanes. It's magical, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's technically still an ARAM. They all went to one lane.
Not
ran
all. We got the
bots.
top laners on their island.
Always the case with the top lane. The Mordekaiser build is Gunblade into Rylai's, and I guess it's going to be into Leandri's. That's going to be interesting so far as the entire time that the Children of the Grave is ticking, it's going to keep applying that Leandri's proc, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be a big nuisance. It looks like there's going to be engaged right now. Vaultbreaker lands on Piccolo Jack. Piccolo Jack taking a lot of damage, eats the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and falls quickly, but so does BTF5 Snow. Now the fight onto Fizzy. Fizzy drops to the curtain call. The chase is on, and there is that Children of the Grave constantly slowed. Oreo picks up that kill. Stand United is used, but there's only 2 members left for the Goofy Goobers. This might be a Baron for Off in the Shower.
That was a huge brand ult there. That was a lot of damage. I think he got a proc on every single one of the Off in the Shower. And what started out as a really good fight for the Goobers, and unfortunately kind of turned as far as a negative kind of thing. After they got the 1 kill on the Piccolo Jack, it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah, because they used so much on him. They had the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they had the Ice Tomb. I'm not sure if they used the Assault and Battery, but it was a lot dedicated to the jungler, and that left both Autumn Rain and Sylvix to just run rampant.
That is true, and Midgey didn't get there till kind of later on in the fight. It's a little bit unfortunate, and I'm wondering if something might have changed in that outcome.
Piccolo Jack getting a little beat up right now.
I mean, when you're fighting a guy with 2 very gigantic swords with your fists,
Is this a
it's
Baron
kind
call?
I believe it is, and they don't know.
They were right there, too.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Oh my god. The Goofy Goobers can't get away with this. They are aware of it now. Will Piccolo Jack be able to get in time? Wait for the Sonic Wave. Here it comes. Resonating Strike next. Does get it. Can he get the smite? No, he doesn't. Instead, Midgey picks up that. BTF5 Snow drops to Oreo. And now back and forth blows ultimately result in Off in the Showers winning out that team fight, but not getting the Baron.
Now we have to ask ourselves, was that worth it? What can they get with this Baron? If they're just going to have to sit in their base, while they did get, yeah, they got some gold back, but they lost 2 people for it, and we're going to have to see if they can defend against this Off in the Shower squad.
Yeah, whether it's worth it or not really depends on if their base gets cracked.
And it does not look like that will be the case this time. A bot lane tower does go in favor of the Goobers.
Yeah, so this could have been worth it overall.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best team fight, but they were able to get the Baron. They got a tower somehow out of that. So it's overall a good trade, surprisingly.
And with this dragon, if it's picked up,
Stand United used, but the dragon does have Children of the Grave, is wailing down onto Fizzy. Sylvix trying to 1v3 this, getting so much damage off, but now getting aggressed on. Flashes backwards very questioningly. Here comes the shockwave, only lands on the Midgie, and down goes Sylvix, as well as his pet dragon.
that was a bit of a panic flash, I think. It happens to everybody. And what were you talking about on 1v3? That was a 2v2, or that was a 2v3. He had his dragon in there, man. But now with the Goobers still having Baron, they could push straight down this mid side.
Yeah, and this Baron actually proving to be worth it more and more.
Yeah, I'm really confused as to why the Off the Shower didn't have any idea that this was going on. But I guess they just think that they would try something like a Baron right now. The power of surprise. One thing we do have to note though is Off the Shower have 4 dragons.
Yeah, they've been really on top of the dragon game. Piccolo Jack doing a great job at that overall.
Yeah, if it comes down to an Elder Dragon, it's going to be a very scary. And look at our gold.
Dead even.
Dead even.
Piccolo Jack trying to get aggressive. Ward jumps forward, but gets a stun for his effort.
Well, I mean, if you're aggressing onto me, I'd stun you. I wouldn't want you jumping onto me like some crazy person that just goes around flying and kicks people. I mean, it's a no thing. Bad touch.
That's an interesting little statement you made. Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome. I'm glad our friendship is to the point that if you were trying to kick me, I'd stun you.
So we do
Word
see
of
the
the
split
wise.
push in the mid lane coming
Word of
out
the
of
wise.
Midgie.
Don't kick your friends.
Sonic Wave does land. This is kind of scary for Off in the Showers, as they are in a position where they can get flanked out, where they can get engaged on.
So the Jin has picked up 2 lethality items. He's going to go to the IE third. And while the Ashe has her Essence Reaver and is going to end her 3rd item IE. So the 80 carries are pretty much even over across the board for the most part. But we take a look at the supports. You have to wonder who's going to be more effective for their team. A healing, shielding.
Ooh, that is a question. You had to talk about the supports. Quantum Lightning drops right away.
And I guess the answer is the healing, shielding support, even though the Lulu had no effect on that whatsoever.
All the effect. The Lulu got an assist. Come on.
Oh, yeah. That's purely the reason they got that kill there, and not because the support was face-checking the bush by themselves. And just like that, we see the pressure here for Off in the Shower. Back and forth this game.
Yeah, really back and forth. But they do have a very difficult time when it comes to trying to crack this base. They don't really have the best sieging. It really comes down to the split push more than anything else.
I'm very interested to see what this item is coming out from the Lord. I'm not too sure what he would
Might be
build.
Decerux?
Possibly, yeah. And Mordekaiser with that Decerux proc would be scary, and it would allow him to live for a little bit longer. So yeah, I could see it. A little bit of a stalemate, and we're now back to all the people in one lane. And
Yeah, over and over with these guys. Sylvix gets stunned up, but nothing comes of it.
yeah, I just feel like they're not using their Shin like the Shin's supposed to. Yeah, you want him there, but
Goes for the taunt, completely misses it. Meiji doesn't really pay for it though.
yeah, had he flash taunted there, he would have gotten at least 2 people, I think. I don't know if that would have been worth it or not, but we'll have to remain to see what can be done here. There will be
Yeah.
a top wave pushing in for the Goobers, so I think it will be able to take out this tower up top.
And there you go. Dedicating all those resources to that lane, and they lose a tower instead. This might be an engage coming out. Fizzy has the Vault Breaker charged up. Midgey's taunting away. A retreat coming out of the Goofy Goobers, not choosing to counter engage this, playing it very carefully.
And just like that, we're still dead even for the most part.
Neither of these teams really want to do anything risky at the moment, but we're still playing this game of dance in one lane together as 5.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to one team to fight, I think, later on, probably like 5 minutes from now. Whatever more Jet just popped back. Baron is spawning in about 25 seconds, so I'll have to wonder if we'll see some action around that. Last time the Goobers took it very sneakily, but the off the shower should have more of an awareness, I would assume, knowing that the Goobers did take it kind of backhanded like that.
Oh man, we talked about the 6th man when it comes to off in the showers. Look at the 6th man for the Goofy Goobers in the top lane right now.
Yeah, the minions are doing a lot of work. We see a little bit of an engage here.
Yeah, this doesn't look too good for off in the shower. The Elder Drake should go over to the Goofy Goobers quite easily. Drop incredibly fast. And no contest coming out from off in the shower. But it's not the worst thing. They are the ones that have all the elemental drakes of this game.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a very low burn, even though the burn is still gonna be there. I do want to see the Goobers force this dragon or Baron, excuse me, now that they have this Elder Drake. It will offer those combat stats, so gonna be interesting to see if they decide to force the issue here, try to accelerate the game a little bit and cause it to end. But looks like they're backing off. So
yeah, all this time spent banning out Silvix's Mordekaiser, and it's been a little bit underwhelming when it comes to this late game.
he has to have a way in, and where the team that has been built around the Mordekaiser, it doesn't offer any sort of safety for him to do the things Mordekaiser needs to do. He can't just sit there and just spam his abilities, use his empowered Q, try to get the 3rd hit. I don't think he's ever lived long enough when he's been focused down to get the triple Q off. We'll have to see if that can happen later on. We do see this Baron being toyed around with.
Ooh, this is just so tense and so carefully played from both teams.
Yeah.
Game's slowing down in tempo so much.
Yeah, you don't want to be that team that threw the game at Baron. Both teams choosing to play it fairly slow.
Yeah, I'm surprised Silvix didn't stay in the bot lane and just go for the split push. He went back with his team. He does have the teleport up. And we're back to this 5v5 standoff.
Yeah, I don't like how the TP has been used from both of the top laners so far. I mean, you have the Shen, who's literally known as a split pusher. But that said, it's just one of those things. We don't know what their comms are like right now, and they really want Midgey to be there for the
Piccolo
toss.
Jack's gonna get caught out, taking a lot of damage. Just have to war jump over the wall, but Assault and Battery goes on. And meanwhile, Silvix is in the front line, gets melted quite quickly. Oreo looks to be the next one, but no, Autumn Rain gets caught out. Takes a lot of damage, has to flash away and use the heal. Meanwhile, Oreo does drop, and so will Piccolo Jack, and so will Autumn Rain. The Goofy Goobers are looking to win this game right now.
Yeah, that was a very good taunt by Midgey there. I think he got Oreo and Silvix there. Not too sure. I'd have to look at the replay, but I just know that he got 2 members, and that allowed just the pile of CC to fall onto the off in the shower, and that's going to be some serious repercussions. It's going to be at least an inhib. They could probably try to push down. Yeah.
I think the big thing is just Piccolo Jack getting too curious about the Baron health.
Yeah. I don't know that they'll be able to end it, but they're at least gonna get some damage. They probably can end it. I don't know. It's gonna be very
4
close.
seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and here comes Oreo, and here comes Piccolo Jack, and down goes the Nexus. Game 1 goes to the Goofy Goobers.
Man, that game kind of they played around very slow for the last 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden the game's over.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. It's just that slow, methodical play, waiting for the other team to make a mistake.
Would you say it is what it is?
Yeah.
That said, well played to both teams. It was a very good game, I have to say. A little bit, I felt. I don't really know how I feel about the Mordekaiser pick. Didn't really do, I guess, what it was intended to. That said, none of Off in the Shower really was that impressive this game. Had to see them. They had some moments. You can't deny that. Like, they did have all that dragon control, but they couldn't really do anything with it.
Yeah, it was their map play most of all. They were able to win team fights here and there, but overall it just didn't work out. It was too passive, and not only that, they didn't play to their team's strengths. They didn't take advantage of the teleports. Both teams didn't do that, but it hurt more for the team with the weaker engage, which happened to be Off in the Shower.
This is very true, and that also said, I really still did not like the use of the top laners, but I mean, if you're gonna stay there, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna pick like Shin, why are you there? Just pick something else that has a team fight present. So far as like Maokai, maybe even though I think he was nerfed, but still something that has a better team fight. I would think, if you're not going to be split pushing using the Stand United and teleport that way. I don't really know. That said, we don't know how their comms were, what they were trying to call, but well played to both teams. Congratulations to the Goobers. They are now 1-0 in this series. I don't know what that means so far as the standings go, but I have to see.
Yeah, and now we shall be going off to break. This is the Goofy Goobers going 1-up on Off in the Showers. Can they bring it back? Find out when we come back to Ascension eSports Elder League.